Well, in the meantime, a lobby group, a Black Forum of South Africa, is meanwhile taking the Public Works Minister to court over what it calls the unlawful appointment of 5 individuals to the Board of Trustees. The group accuses the minister of not being transparent in the vetting process and implementing a pattern of cadre deployment by his political party, the Democratic Alliance. Black Forum SA CEO Advocate Kgagudi Morota joins us now for more. Advocate, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is actually quite convoluted and a lot to look at, but I think let's start off with the steps taken by the Black Forum. You've issued the statement where you filed with the you filed an urgent application challenging what you've called the unlawful appointment of IDT board members. Let's talk about where this initiated for the Black Forum of South Africa and why you've taken this step.
Thank you very much, Naleji, for having me, and greetings to the viewers at home. As Black Forum South Africa, we have taken that stance because the very same minister who is crying for public sympathy and lying through his white teeth to the nation, he is the one circumventing the law in terms of appointment of 5, board members of the IDT. And we wrote to him that Minister did not follow the prescribed process as stated by the trust deed. But Minister, after receiving our letter, he galloped, he hastened the process of appointing them very quick. He even issued them with a directive, the board to meet quickly and elect the chairperson, even though he knows that the process he has followed, it was out of the law.
Okay, can you talk to me in a little bit more detail about what it was about the process? But also, I'm also keen in hearing, if you have a particular issue with these 5 individuals, is there something that says to you that they are not fit for the job, Advocate?
Yeah, you'll understand that the Independent Development Trust, IDTS, is a trust governed by, a deed of trust, which prescribes to a minister a procedure he's supposed to use when there are vacancies within the board. And that, deed of trust states clearly that the minister must appoint a selection committee which will run with the entire appointment process, public invitations, interviews of the candidates, and then send the successful candidates to minister for consideration. And if he is satisfied, he appoints them. In this case, that process was not followed. He just gave that responsibility to the current board, which was not courageous, to say, come up with the names, and then send the nominated nominations to me, and then I appoint. But what actually appalls us is that amongst the people he has appointed, 3 were serving in the very same board of IDT previously. And how they left the IDT, it was when Minister Sitlesi Galala, issued them with his letters of his intention to terminate their board membership because there were serious allegations against them. Then GNU happened. The current DA Minister, Macpherson, he went and brought back the 3 former board members who ran away back into the board through this convention of the law. And now we are, surprised why South Africans are silent because 3 of those members today were appointed a chairperson, deputy chairperson of the board.
There's a lot here. You've got, for instance, and I almost want to go back to 2024, the Daily Maverick publishing an article about ghost companies allegedly awarded 428 million rand as part of this oxygen plant tender. And this is what the Minister Macpherson has talked about, even in the press briefing that we showed you just moments ago. And what he has talked about, Advocate Morota, is a coordinated fight back campaign as a result of him initiating a probe into this tender of this PSA oxygen plant or infrastructure at 55 public health facilities. Are you aware of a coordinated fight back campaign against the minister as a result of the probe into this tender?
Look, my sister, minister is politicking, seeking public sympathy. He knows himself that is lying through his white teeth. He is politicking. Minister Macpherson is a symbol of circumvention of the due processes and cadre deployment within the DA. That oxygen plant project, if he was serious about it, if he was not using it to chop, back executives in that IDT and Department of Public Works, he should have met with the CEO of the IDT, Mr. Bohmalaka, and discussed around that issue. Since he was appointed a Minister of Public Works, he never, ever met with the CEO who runs the operations of the IDT to discuss allegations which, around the project which the CEO of the IDT supposed to know and, provide a light to him around. He is not doing that. He is going to the media, smear campaigning, creating a cloud, so that when he comes and chop blackheads who are capable, who are competent, who have salvaged the ITD to be where it is today, so that the public should not, be surprised. But what he is doing is just a fallacy. What he's doing is politicking. What we see, my sister, is that one of the 3 candidates appointed in the board, Ms. Zimbili Hill, she was the chairperson of the IDT board before she ran away. So he brought her back into the board. And today she was again elected the chairperson of the same IDT board. But what, surprises us, what shocks us is that on the 27th of March, last week, the minister had a MIMEC meeting in Limpopo, meeting the MEC of Public Works in Limpopo. Ms. Zimbili Hill was referred to in that meeting as the chairperson of the IDT board, way before the meeting of today happened for the board to elect the chairperson. So this is a premeditated process, and we cannot now trust the credibility of Macpherson, who does not even have a post-matric qualification, to tell us about corruption, accountability, and transparency, whereas he is worse in terms of raping the processes which are prescribed within the law.
I mean, but you're also using some strong words here. So let's, I'm going to implore that we, stay respectful, of course, because for some of these, what could be seen as personal attacks, he is not here to defend himself. The economic freedom fighters in January, and you hear in that package that we played earlier, the minister saying that the EFF, of course, talking about an email thread that he has shared and he believes was also shared by the EFF. But the EFF having accused the minister, saying that he's interfering in the affairs of the IDT. Do you agree with that? So are you of the same position and opinion of the EFF that the minister has interfered in the work done by the IDT? And then perhaps as we close off, you can talk to me about the outcomes that you'd like to see now that you have lodged that urgent application in the courts.
Yeah, to us, it's more than interfering, my sister, to the point that he goes and hired the guns who ran away from IDT to give them the same positions, because these, unlawful appointed candidates were against the CEO of the IDT before former Minister Kgagudi Morota issued them with his letters to terminate their membership. He brought them back as a hired guns to come and finish off the CEO of IDT. So it is more than interfering. This is an overhauling of the IDT. this is cadre deployment, because the same Zimbili Hill, the very same Minister Macpherson, appointed her as the chairperson of a very critical committee of CIDB in the previous month. Now is appointing her again as a chairperson of the IDT using illegal means. That is a clear act of, hiring a person to come and finish off the mission of eroding, capable delivering, black female executives. So to us, and we are taking it back to the ANC that this is a replication of giving people who did not win anything our black power to rule. Now they are ruling us. They are using that power to, to prejudice, to harm, black executives, to harm public administration, because DA did not win anything, but black people voted the way they voted in the previous national elections because they were voting for blackness, and that blackness came in the form of ANC, EFF, and Mkhonto weSizwe. So now DA is showing us that when you give white people power to use it and to use it against you, you should not cry. So what we want to see coming out of the case, would like the court to assist us, to put aside the unlawful appointment of these 5 board members. Second to that, would like the minister, the court to, to nullify the letters of authority issued by the Master of High Court in favor of the 5 unlawfully appointed candidates. And thirdly, we would like the court to, interdict and restrain the functions of these 5 and the powers they would like to exercise, which are conferred to the board. And over and above that, Naleji, as the Black Forum South Africa, we would like to maybe approach the court about these 5 candidates who were appointed, unlawfully, and also using political arrangements to be appointed as chairpersons in the board. Because when you are serving as a board of directors, you must first public must have a faith, must have a confidence and trust in you. Okay. You cannot impose yourself in these positions. So we are going to approach the court against Zimbili and others so that they could be declared delinquents because they don't have what it takes to serve in that board.
All right, we'll be watching for the steps that you take. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Advocate. We do appreciate it. And of course, this is, I think, an ongoing back and forth here that we might very well see, not just between this organization, perhaps other structures, as well as a lot to respond to, perhaps even by the Public Works Minister, Dean Macpherson himself. CEO there of the Black Forum of South Africa, Advocate Kgagudi Morota, speaking to us this evening. More news on the other side of this short break. Do stay with us on Newsfeed PM, the late edition.